What's up, y'all? I'm Quincy, design director, principal designer, design manager, and we are on day 23 of this 30-day redesign journey, 7 days left in this. This has been an exciting time. Today, we are in part 2 of Cigna. So you saw part 1 yesterday. Part 2, we're just going to finish that page, essentially. And if you don't know, up until now, I was let go from Wall Street Journal back in November. Haven't been able to find work ever since. So I decided to challenge myself and do a 30-day redesign challenge, 30 straight days, essentially. And the caveat is, it's anyone who has rejected my application. So I get rejections, seem to be, quite often. Not too sure why. Is it me? Is it you? Is it me? Is it you? Not too sure. But we are redesigning someone who's rejected my application, and Cigna has rejected my application. So we are on part 2, day 2 of Cigna's redesign. There's a lot going on with Cigna's website. So we're going to, just make our way through it. And I'm ready to get after it. You guys ready? I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. All right, let's get after it. Let's go. All right. So what we're tackling today is the bottom portion of Cigna's website. So essentially, we did up until here yesterday. So it's here all the way down. And there's still a lot of things happening and going on, a lot of decisions that need to be made, essentially. So, so some of the decisions is, what do we do with this here? Left side, right side. It doesn't happen anywhere else on the website, essentially. This visit our knowledge center in this red color. Again, we're introducing a different pattern. This policy disclosures is on an island by itself, essentially. It's just on the left here, looking for plans. This mimics what's really on top, essentially, which is this. So we're going to give that a different treatment. And then we have continue shopping for your own coverage in this gray background color with just dental coverage, supplemental coverage. So very small copy, big images, lots of real estate taken up. We're going to condense that, essentially. And then we have a disclaimer down here, which is referencing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, referencing probably what's on top, essentially. And then we have, I'm going to call it a pre-footer with all of these links in it. 4 different columns of links with 5 groups, essentially. And then you have your footer, which is your privacy, terms of use, legal information, sitemap, normal things that should be in a footer. And then you have another disclaimer down here. And I want to be able to really, I want to suppress the disclaimer and maybe just put it in an accordion, essentially. So it just reduces the space. So there's still a lot of decisions going on. What do we do with the pre-footer and the footer? What do we do with the disclaimer? What do we do with this explanatory copy, essentially? What do we do? Not too sure, but we're going to get into it. So let's take it to Figma. Let's get after it. All right, so we're back in Figma, day 2. I'm going to start off with the image on the right. I'm going to go to the website. Hopefully I can grab that image. It's square, but let me do a Google search. Maybe I can drop it in and find it as a rectangle, essentially, 1920 by 1080, around there. But as I keep looking, I realize it's not found anywhere. Gotta love Google image search. So I'm looking for a hiking image. So I'm going to take it to Pexels. And it took me a little bit to find the right image for that position, because essentially I want that image to look much like we did with the top, with the gentleman with the cowboy hat. So basically an image on the right, or a person on the right, not an image on the right, a person on the right. Going through Pexels, downloaded a few images, but I just downloaded, I believe, which young lady that I could use for this space. I think it's going to work great. Just looking for a few more. downloaded one or two more. Now I'm gonna grab the copy, that title, bring that image down, delete the one on the right-hand side, which was that extra frame I created. Now I'm gonna put this young lady in. She's excited. She's on the beach. She's looks like she's having a great time. She has an affordable health plan, individual health plan. Gonna bring in this copy. And it's beginning to take shape. That gradient in the back needs to be adjusted. I'm going to adjust her so she's more on the right-hand side. And I realize as I moved her, that image, you could see that left side of that image. So I'm going to adjust it. It looks good. I think it looks good for the space. I'm just going to slightly adjust the tone of it. But I realized maybe it should be white. Maybe it should blend into the space, because the one on top is green. So why not make it a different color, essentially? But I want to make sure you can understand and see the edges, that teardrop shape on, those top left and the bottom right, essentially. So I made that background gray, like a light gray color. So I'm satisfied with it. Let's make our way down to the page. So we're already reduced a lot of space, essentially, and we didn't create another pattern. So I don't want to put in these two links. So these two link flows, essentially, policies, disclosures, and actually underneath there are other links too. And that's visit our knowledge center. So that's what I'm going to put in also. So I'm just replacing these links for visit our knowledge center. They have essentially 4 links. For policy and disclosures, they have 5 links. But now policy and disclosures is not on an island by itself. It's with somebody. It's married to somebody, which is the knowledge center links. So all on the same plane, already reduced space, already looks better than what it did previously. But now I want to, on the left-hand side, I'm thinking it's too spaced out. So let's add something to the left-hand side. And that thing that we're going to add to the left-hand side is continue shopping for your own coverage. Just moving it around, messing with the spacing. So continue shop for your own coverage. So we have these two things: dental coverage, supplemental coverage. There's not much text in there at all. Essentially, it's 3 lines of text. So I want to make an image of dental coverage and supplemental coverage, but smaller. So I took what I created on the top for the states. I'm going to move it down here, put it in this space, and I'm looking, how should it be worked out? Should it stay on the left? Should it have those blue links? Should there be an image? Should it not be an image? What should the text say? So shop dental, shop supplemental. That's what I started on. And I'm going to get this image from their website. Both images, the toothbrush and the person with the kid who looks like he broke his wrist. So I'm going to grab these both. I'm going to put them in the back. Now I have both these images, but let me work out this first space to seeing if it should be essentially on top of each other, supplemental coverage, and then the CTA. So it took a few minutes for me to work out the space the way I wanted it to. Maybe the images should be aligned right next to each other, essentially. Should they be the same size? But I'm looking on the right-hand side. Is that going to work with the space? I'm not confident it's going to work for the space at this present moment in time. But I'm just going to continue going down this road to see if it works. Going to center everything, center my CTAs. Now I'm thinking maybe I should condense what's on the right-hand side with these 2 link panels, essentially. Should it look like this? Should it be this? And I'm thinking maybe it should be on the same line, essentially continuing shopping for your own coverage. So it actually is not on, well, I'm just gonna try it. Right now it's on the left-hand side, but I still have a lot of space underneath. I wanna reduce space and just clean it up as much as possible. So I'm gonna put it right above what I just created, essentially. And I'm liking it, but what do I do with the bottom? You know, do I adjust the bottom? Do I let these two link panels just live on its own? I'm not too sure. Let me figure out this top portion, continue shopping for your own coverage. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change the typeface to a token, to see which token on top. Should look like this. How should the space in here be? But you can't really read the links, the CTAs, that well. So I want to make a gradient, continue this gradient pattern that we already created. I'm going to create another gradient pattern with these two images that have a button in them, essentially. So that same pattern should be that gray color, essentially, and then fading to the clear. So gray color fading to the clear. Same pattern that we're creating. Now, as I like, should I put the CTA to the right, or should I put it to the left? I like it. The space is good, but I think the blue is a little too bold. But let me work out the left. I made the copy on the left that dark gray token. Should we separate what's from the bottom with a separator, essentially? Essentially, that all is one section, but what's here is widowed. It's widowed. These two things down here, these two link panels, shouldn't be here. So I see looking for plans through the employer. Why don't we bring that to the top? So now there's a image group with copy and links all together. So everything seems like it was meant to be, because you have a bunch of images, a bunch of links, a bunch of CTAs, but it all looks cohesive, essentially. So I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna bring in that copy. Actually, looking through your plans, and the copy down here. Now I have it. Let me delete this link. Make this link, just make it white, essentially, much like what is on top. But I'm still deciding. Now I need to put in that image. I'm gonna move everything over, see if it fits. But the links on the right, it doesn't fit at this present moment in time. So let me make a gradient. Gradient coming from the bottom. That green color that we use from the top. But now I'm creating a different pattern for the gradient coming from the bottom to the top. And that's not what I want to do. I really want that pattern to be left to right, essentially. So you can read that text that's on the left to the bottom, essentially. It's working out the space. Here we go. I'm going to move it to the left, adjust it. Now it almost seems cohesive to what's on the right-hand side. There's not much space that I am abusing at the bottom, essentially. And it's almost even. So you have this image group with links in it. I'm going to create another link, another CTA, which is white with black text on it. And I want to replace it with all of these. So now you have these two image links, two CTAs, and everything is all together. Different panels, different links, but all together essentially. And I think it works great. I mean, this space here, it just works. It's cohesive. You could read it from the left to the right, from going from the top to the bottom. Now I'm looking at these links. Oh my God, this is the holy smokes of links. There's a lot of links going on. A lot of blue happening. Sea of blue. Get lost in a sea of blue. And these are these links. So I'm going to put these links in. I want to understand the space. Maybe I should separate it with a separator. I'm going to just duplicate what I have on top. I'm going to grab all these links, replace all the copy. It's a lot of links, ladies and gentlemen. If you have this many links at the bottom, I think you need to rethink your strategy for your footer, because I'm not too sure how many people are clicking on each and every one of these links, and this has to be a better, easier solution. But we're going to create a solution. It's probably, yeah, we're going to create a solution for you, and it's going to be good. I'm changing the tops, the copy at the top, essentially, which is a title, make it a gray color. So it just fades into the background, doesn't seem too obtrusive. Just replacing all these links. Takes a little time to replace everything. Actually, it takes time to break the links. Got to break the links. But I realized what's on the right, there's two sets of links, because usually for the pattern, they have one set of links that covers one category. But right here, there's two sets of links covering two categories. So I'm just replacing them. Breaking the links, gonna underline everything. There you go. Looks good. Looks good. Reducing that padding. But now I see these links at the bottom. What could we do? I want to move the ones on the right to the left, and then insert those links from the bottom to the right, essentially. I'm going to give those titles that are underneath those categories a little bit more space. And now I'm going to replace those links that are at the bottom in the blue, privacy, terms of use, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to put them on the right-hand side. So we've eliminated a footer, essentially, which was the footer, but we put everything in this pre-footer, quote unquote. So now we only have one footer on the site. That's all we need is one footer. You don't need two footers. Almost sounds like wood. I'm talking about wood, 2 footers. But I'm going to make that blue. It's a little too bright, so I'm going to go over to the current website, grab that dark blue. And that dark blue is going to follow. I'm going to take this out, make sure it spans the width of the page. I condense everything, make everything 30 pixels going around. Reduce some space. And now I see that this is actually should be the footer, but I realize that there's a disclaimer at the top too that I have to put in. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to duplicate this panel, this frame, delete. I don't know why there was an outline on it. I delete the outline. I'm going to put in this copy, delete these links, put in this copy, condense it, make it a token. Same thing on the right-hand side. So essentially we have left and right. So it's just not running down the page, essentially. And if you were to go to mobile view, it'll condense and everything will be one column. But now we have this disclaimer, and I guess they probably need it, essentially. So, but it's there. I want to bring their logo and put it in the footer. And of course, everyone knows you're on Cigna's website. But below the logo, I want to put that copyright information in. But there's a disclaimer at the bottom, which is a lot of text too. So I want to create essentially an accordion down there. So if you click on the accordion, which says disclaimer, that disclaimer will open up essentially. And this is the accordion that I'm creating. Same CTA pattern. I'm going to give it a little bit more space. I'm going to bring the links on the right down essentially. So they drop below that top of that logo. And here's me putting in that copyright information right below the logo. Gonna expand the page down, make sure everything fits. And I realize I want to bring these other links on the right-hand side down. All right, now I'm gonna go back to the top because there's a piece of text that I need to put in there for individuals and families. And it looks good. I mean, this is a huge difference from what's on the left. I mean, what's on the right than what's on the left. Just gonna adjust a few things, making sure I got all of the content in there, making sure the space is it's just peeking out some. So gonna work out, just move this over a little bit. Notice it just encroaching on the left, but I love it. This just came out great, beautiful, awesome, amazing. And let me show it to you guys.